Hey, what's up? It's Wes here, aka Seahawktopmist Prime. Welcome back to the Seahawks Times. Before I get into this video, this exciting video, I want to thank all 1,200 subscribers. That's 1,200 subscribers so far on this new YouTube channel that I've created for diehard, passionate football fans, especially Seahawks fans. So if you're new to this channel, you're going to love it. So I would subscribe. And I would like to also announce that the channel is now monetized, meaning you can support the channel by leaving a tip on the super thanks option in that little heart icon, or you can join our Seahawks Times Patreon with the link in the description. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Monday Night Football. The drama, the lights, the camera, the action. We knew it was going to be high drama. Seattle was counted out. The media narrative was 90+%. Denver Broncos winning for sure. There was so much hate in the comments. So many people just didn't believe in the Seattle Seahawks, but I did. God did. I believed in the Seattle Seahawks. Why? Because I knew that Pete Carroll had a fantastic draft, and the philosophy of just competing with every snap and every play shone last night. It was really a bright shining star in that game. Energy, effort. Aside from all the X's and O's and how well Geno played, it was the energy and the effort and the cohesive function of the team, the same goal, the mentality you could see, the never giving in. That was something I haven't felt for over 7 to 8 years of this team, maybe a little bit of an exaggeration there, but I was so excited to see these young players get their stripes in that game, grind it out, go through the ups and downs, the mistakes, the tight windows, everything down to the goal line. Each blade of grass, like Uchenna Nwosu said in his post game, was defended or protected or attacked. And this is Seahawks football, so get used to it. We're not going away. This was not a fluke. Okay, let me get into some of the highlights of the game. First and foremost, my MVP of the game, hands down, was Uchenna Nwosu. A pickoff of the Chargers in the offseason. We paid this guy right away. It was suspect because we weren't sure what he would do as a marquee pass rusher, but man, did he come up big in that game. 2 forced fumbles at the 1. That is unheard of territory, and he was causing havoc on offensive tackles all night long. Nwosu is a stud player, and he's going to free up Darrell Taylor eventually in the rest of the pass rush. Boy, in Malfaito, this bodes huge for the team. I want to shout out a couple really key players in this game as well. Michael Jackson, man, did he come through. Michael Jackson sat on the Patriots for a while on another team, but was behind star corner Stephon Gilmore. JC Jackson didn't get a chance to shine. He came out here and he really was dominant in camp, and he was everywhere he needed to be in this football game. Michael Jackson is a starting cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be what it is. I don't know if he plays in the slot or what he does, but he is a dynamic DB, and I think they're going to play him inside and outside depending on the set, but he can come up and hit. He can, obviously he's adept to where the ball is. 2 fumble recoveries from Michael Jackson. It's a thriller. He just went off last night, and I was so excited about that, and that was so much fun. The tackles, okay. You know what's noticeable is that Chubb got to Geno at the end of the game there, but I want to talk about Charles Cross, and I can't speak enough to his resilience. The key play for me of Charles Cross was not how well he blocked most of the game. It was the fact and the awareness that when Bradley Chubb strip sacked Geno Smith, Charles Cross didn't look crazy like most rookies do. He jumped on the ball. His first reaction was to get the ball. That's the savviness of a veteran. If we give Denver the ball in that situation, I would like to see the percentage that Russell Wilson converts a TD. It's probably very high. That was critical awareness by Charles Cross, and he's only going to get better as time goes on. Another rookie there, we've got Abraham Lucas, played phenomenal football. Once again, his name is never called because he doesn't let anyone buy him. Special shout outs to Austin Blythe. Austin Blythe is really having command of the offensive line, and it's making a big difference. I believe he is the best offensive line captain we've had at center since Max Unger. Yes, since Max Unger. He's not as dominant in the run blocking, but Blythe can control this and is the captain up middle of that O-line, and it's looking really good. The timing is good. 1 false start for Phil Haynes. That's all we saw there. And for a really young O-line, that is remarkable in a game of that much pressure and situation. Plus, Blythe was there when Penny dropped the fumble and was right on the ball. Okay, the receiving stats were not huge for Seattle, but DK played well, had a key conversion against Surtain despite his mistakes. That big over-the-middle catch on Surtain draped in coverage was huge. Lockett was getting open, but it wasn't our goal to try to win this game in the air. But it's a running game, loosens up, and Penny gets his legs and is able to make those cuts and open things up. Play action is going to open up down the line, and it's really bodes well for our future. The offense looked really good. So getting the tight ends involved was not just talk by Waldron and Pete Carroll. It was super exciting to see Colby Parkinson score that TD. A beautiful time seam route to Parkinson, and also the stepping up in the pocket of Geno and getting it to Uncle Will, who was wide open. Uncle Will runs about a 4.940. The guy is slow as molasses, but he's everywhere he needs to be. I love Will Dissly. Will Dissly wasn't overpaid. No, he wasn't. A couple of the sad parts of the game, we might have seen Jamal Adams' last snap as a Seahawk. I love Jamal Adams. A lot of the narrative was like, you guys are done, your season's over because Jamal Adams is injured. I love Jamal Adams, but he hardly ever plays for us. You know what I mean? So Josh Jones slid right in there and did really, really well. And I really feel for Adams, and it was sad to see Quandre Diggs' press conference speaking about him. But we got to move on. Hopefully Josh Jones and some of the other up-and-start young safeties can ball out there. This game was no joke. I know that Denver, the narrative will be that it was emotional and Denver made mistakes and there was a lot of penalties. I get it. But we were written off. And I just want to say this about the Seattle Seahawks team, and I've been saying it, and the narrative has been there on my channel from the beginning. They can sneak into the wild card. I love this game for so many reasons. There was so much to love about it, but it was the little things like DJ Dallas just going Cam Chancellor on dude on that kick return. He just came through and thumped them. I'm bigger than DJ Dallas. We were playing with heart. Every player was playing with heart. So let's highlight some of these young guys that really sprung up, and some of the vets as well. Tariq Woolen, he didn't give up anything. Okay, there's a couple ticky-tacky calls, maybe one egregious PI by Woolen, but there was no completions on Tariq Woolen. None. Like, this is a 5th round draft pick. I've told you how excited I am about Avatar. Avatar is going to be a star player. You see Richard Sherman in the building. You see Pete Carroll talking to Woolen. He could be one of the best. Kobe gave up a little bit there, but still played well overall. He's got a little bit of time to catch there, but Woolen right now, crazy. Running game was good. We didn't break any of those big TD runs, but you could see that Penny was electric. You could see Penny had the footwork going on. Once he gets his weight down to like 228 instead of 232, he's going to be breaking off some of those for TDs. And then I was talking to my wife and I was like, look, you know that guy on the sideline with the shorter dreads? That's Ken Walker III. I linked her a highlight reel of Ken Walker III and she was like, what? That kid hasn't even played yet. He hasn't even played a snap for Seattle. Imagine when Ken Walker's coming to spell instead of Travis Homer. Oh my gosh, if you don't have a crazy linebacking crew, we're going to run for like 300 yards on everybody. So I'm so excited. I hope Ken Walker can come back against the Niners. I think they might rest him still because the hernia surgery is pretty serious. But man, Ken Walker, when he's slotted in there and he's spelling Penny, this could be crazy, guys. That's why I've been talking about a possible wild card here. I know it's just 1 week, but I said this from the get-go. If Seattle can play sound defense, get turnovers, and run the ball effectively, the play action's only going to keep opening up. Lockett's only going to get more open. DK's not always going to be playing Patrick Surtain, and things are going to happen. Now that we've incorporated the TEs, shout out to Kobe Parkinson, who looks like some sort of ent. Kobe Parkinson looks like if he was born in 1670, he would be like stoned for being a giant. He is a huge man with speed, and I think he has like a 4.9 GPA at Stanford. Kid is brilliant. He's looking great out there. I've said this. You guys know I'm team Drew, let Drew brew, but if Geno does his thing, I'm going to be the first to be happy about that for Geno Smith. So Geno, give him his flowers, y'all. He played really good, and that has to be a really special feeling for Geno Smith. It really does. God, I'm pumped up about this game, man. I love the Seahawks. Anyways, what else happened in this game? Coaching. We had better coaching than the Denver Broncos, and I want to say to that commenter that tried to call out my team and what we don't have, we have way better coaching than you. Nathaniel Hackett, you pay $245 million for Russell Wilson. It's fourth and 5 to win the game or lose the game, and you try the longest field goal ever. That's just plain stupid. Pete Carroll, even as crazy as he is, he's not trying to do that. He's going to try to get a play going. So that was critical for Hackett, and that's going to spin the media narrative into a spiral, just like Seattle going 1-0 while the rest of the NFC West is down a game. No one would have ever bought. If you bet on that, you probably would have made $1 million on a buck. Anyways, I love it. There's so much great stuff that happened in this game. DK was better than anticipated because he was playing with fire. You know, he wasn't just out there like, it wasn't about the catches. He wasn't going down. That fumble was poor by DK, but he was really like bringing the heat. And when he caught a couple of those things over the middle, man, he was throwing dudes, man. And that is really what I'm trying to see out of this team. Play with fire, because no, you don't have all of the star power or whatever, but just play with heat. Let your young guys do their thing. Now, here's what I want to say about the game and the critical moments. And in the critical moments, Seattle didn't panic on offense or defense. I saw no panic. I saw no pre-snap confusion. I saw no waiting too long for the play to be snapped. We knew what we were trying to do, and that was something I haven't even seen with this team, even in the late Russell Wilson era. We knew where we were going with the ball. We knew what was going to work and not going to work, and we stuck to our guns and played Seahawks football. The atmosphere of that game was absolutely electric. I had some friends at the game. I wasn't able able to make it to that game. But wow, what a historic moment. They were saying they couldn't hear anything. We had 100 decibels. It's probably the loudest game almost since Beastquake, maybe. And, you know, that really affects any team. Russ is used to it to a degree, but on the other end, but I'm sure those defensive players for Denver. So the 12th man had something to do with last night. And it feels like it's been a long time since the 12th man's really been pushing to actually change the game. And look at the penalties Denver had. They were out of sorts. They're still probably trying to find SeaTac. They don't know how to get through to SeaTac Airport. They're confused, disoriented. They should just go get a coffee, go get a donut downtown and just chill until they can figure out where they are, because they got thumped last night. Yo, shout out to the Seattle Seahawks for being a regimented program and believing in their system. This was a statement game for Pete Carroll. Yes, Pete, X-Man, Xavier Carroll, and his team of mutants have returned to Lumen's field to shock the world, teleport, and excite the NFL. And yes, a tough matchup next week against the San Francisco 49ers. I still do not have the Seahawks favored in that game because that defense is a totally different animal. But the way that the Seahawks have momentum right now, I just don't know. So Niners fans, you can come on here and use this as your place to vent, but I don't know for sure if you're going to win. I do have you favored in that game, but anything could happen because we still have insane players. That's what I've been trying to say from the get-go. We have freaks everywhere. And sometimes if you just don't score enough points and we can get up to like the 24 point per game range, we are going to beat some good teams this year. So yes, my prediction stands. Seattle at the wild card. Well, look, I'm a little bit too excited about that game, I think, but I think it's justified. And I want to shout out so many of my followers here that have helped me out. None of you are followers. I consider you friends. I legitimately do. We're just Seahawks fans in this together. Ray, Val, OG Val, Drago Gang, Tanya, Noah LaChance, you know who else is out there, man? Eric Gilbertson. So many of these people have supported this channel from day one, and I'm so thankful. The Lord knows. Who else we got here? You know, shout yourself out. I'm going to keep shouting people out every week. I really love you guys, and thank you so much for being part of this community. It's something that's really special to me. I want to shout out some cities out here, you know, Northwest Seattle, Washington, Central District, Rainier Beach, South End, Tacoma, Northgate, you know, West Seattle. If you're in the Seattle area, I love you guys. Shout out Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Montana, Missoula, Idaho. Can't forget Alaska, British Columbia, Victoria, Vancouver, Kelowna, Wyoming. You know, there's so much of us out there. All the California supporters, Seahawks fan in Europe and the East Coast of the United States, UK, Australia, Africa. We everywhere, baby. You don't understand. Here we go. Seahawks country, baby. Let's fly.